how would you evaluate his performance?
Oh, we got to watch it on film. Obviously, anytime you take a flash sweep like he did for a touchdown, now obviously means he can run, right? Which we knew that coming out of high school, his track times and everything. You see it on film, but there's a whole bunch of other guys blocked on that play, right? That's the only way those long runs happen like that. I think particularly on that one, a running back got around and got the corner, which secured the edge for him. So we've been really happy about what he's done ever since he early enrolled, right? Obviously, we got some young freshmen, true freshmen that we're excited about. And we need to develop them in a hurry because we need them to play like, third and fourth year guys already as true freshmen, which is a little bit unreasonable and unfair, but that's the reality. We got to develop some depth in a hurry because you're going to need depth in this league.
Coach Woody today at 19 carries, 5 targets out of the backfield. What did you think of his performance along with how he kind of handled that workload?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's who Woody is, right? We earlier in the week I think we did a 2-minute drill on Wednesday, right? It was the last period of practice, right? It was 10 plays. The next day we watched it as a team in the team meeting, but Woody was in for all 10 plays, right? I think he got one ball out in the flat, and the other 9 plays, I think he probably picked up 4 blitzes, Buki down the middle, right? But that's the kind of guy he is. He's a worker. He ain't talk. He's just whatever's asked him, he steps up to the call. And so that's why he's one of our leaders. Why he's so well respected. And so obviously he's a really talented tailback. Offensive line did a really good job in the second half, opening up some holes. And obviously we know he can catch the ball out there in the flat and stuff like that. He's had plenty of reps of that. So yeah, well, I got to go watch the tape obviously to give you a really thorough evaluation. But Woody's exactly who we think he is.
Steve?
Special teams seem to play a big part today. Coverage units had some really big heads, play with a real edge, and of course you had the block punt for the touchdown there. How would you kind of assess that group today?
Yeah, I mean, we had to cover a whole bunch of kids. All right, I thought we did a good job of getting down there. On kickoff, typically you call it a speed avoid zone, right, where you're allowed to run around blocks, and you get into inside a certain yard line. It's called the destruction or combat zone, right, where you got kind of 2 gap blockers and compress space and muddy up the seams. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that on kickoff coverage. Obviously, a block punt for a touchdown is huge, and that was a huge momentum play. It was right there towards the end of the quarter. John Rose did a great job. John plays really hard and physical, and he got his hands up, and the ball went right into him, and then we tip and take it in. So we lost some field position on punts, but that's just kind of the reality on the rugby punts. When those balls rolling around that way, you'd like to try to save some field position and not let some of those roll out, but at the same time, you start moving them up closer, and then he turned a couple punts over, a couple spirals that are 50-plus yarders, right? So then you're running over your shoulder trying to make a over-the-shoulder catch, which is difficult. Obviously, you mishandle it. It's a live ball, and so yeah, special teams did a good job. True freshman kicker makes his kicks. I think all in all, we probably played pretty clean football today. Now when we watch the tape, there's going to be a lot of not clean execution, but the pre-snap administrative stuff and the things you're worried about in the first game, we did a decent job of avoiding those.
Coach, we saw Mike and Will in the game a lot at the same time, and he kind of brought a spark to the run game early in the second half. Just your thoughts about how he played today in his first game at Mississippi State.
I did a really good job. I commend both those guys because simply put, right? I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? Usually in that quarterback room, you're usually handling egos, right? And that is the exact opposite of the situation we got. We got 2 guys who just want to be winners, and they are. I talk about this with the team, right? But talk about being a football player, right? And a football player means whatever's asked of me, whenever's asked of me, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the team to get the job done. That's the kind of guys we got in that quarterback room. When you got 2 guys like that, veteran, played a whole bunch, and they don't care what is asked of them, what their role is. You got the right personalities leading your offense, and so I'm really appreciative of Will and Mike and the way they go about their work every single day. They push each other. We should be better for it as a team and as an offense because of that.
You like to use the word physical when you're talking about your football team. Obviously, you have to watch the film, but just from what you saw out there today, were you pleased with how your team played from a physicality standpoint?
Thought he got better in the second half. Credit Coach Selfo and his team. And there's a reason they win 9 games and conference championships. You know, seems like every year. Thought they had a great plan. Their offense did some really good things. If you diagrammed up every play on the board, I bet you they were in some really good looks. I think they did a tremendous job with their plan. Obviously, they're very schematically and fundamentally sound on defense too. So I do want to acknowledge those guys because you know that block punt was really the big momentum changer. I mean, it was a back and forth game the whole way. So rather than stand up here and give you some evaluation and blow smoke about physicality and stuff like that, we got to watch the film. We got a long way to go. And it only gets tougher from here. All right. And so we can either get complacent and think that we've done something special, or we can actually be truthful with ourselves, right? And watch the film and really criticize ourselves because we got a lot of improvement to do. I'm happy for them. We put them to a physical camp. All right, we try to challenge them. I'd simply put, this is just the beginning. It only gets harder from here.
John, I know you said that you're obviously going to have to watch the film, but from kind of the on-field perspective, was there anything you noticed? Because in the first half, 20-7, and then y'all outscored them 28-0 in the second. What do you think kind of helped y'all flip the script, and what was the main kind of catalyst for that, you think?
I'd have to go back and double check. I think we got a 3-and-out on defense, and I think the offense moved the ball pretty good. I might have decided to go for it on 4th down there, and that might be a questionable call. Looking back on it, maybe that was a bad decision by me, bad game manager, by head coach. The reality is, you got more scholarship football players too, right? You got more guys on your sideline available to play than they do. I thought they did a tremendous job. I think depth just started to, take its toll. We got a lot of guys we can rotate in there and keep guys fresh. Obviously, if you get the run game going, right, you always preach as a coach, right? If you can get the run game established, and in the second half, those gains that were 3-4 yards in the first half turn into 6-7 gains in the second half, and then you break them, right? That's kind of the philosophy. But again, I think we did a nice job coming out at halftime, right? You got to play for full 60 minutes, obviously, particularly when you're facing a really quality opponent. And so we got to go evaluate the film, but we got a lot of things to clean up.
Justin.
Along those lines, Zach, offense scored on 6 of their last 7 possessions outside of the kneel downs at the end. What did you just like about how that group grew into the game as after you went along?
I guess I'll give credit to Coach Leach here. Learning under him in the last 3 years, it was their job on offense to go out and score points. Their job on defense is to go out and not give up points, right? And that's your goal every single drive. Doesn't matter what the situation is, and it doesn't matter what scheme you're doing that in, right? That is the mentality. And so I think the offensive coaches did a good job of coming in at halftime. I heard them in the locker room talking through, all right, what are we getting? What are they doing? We anticipated this, but we're getting a little something different. Are they rotating the coverage, or are they running the safety? All that stuff. You hear all that talk. And so then they start going down, okay, we got to get to these plays. Boom, 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 boom. All right? We got quality coaches who know how to make adjustments. So they did a good job of going in at halftime, communicating those effectively to the players, challenging the players that we got to be better in the second half than we were in the first. I think the players responded. There's no magic formula, right? And then there's going to be plenty of plays that maybe we weren't in the best play to be in. But if players execute and are physical, maybe would be the right word, you still got a chance for that play to be really successful. So.
I know you're a guy that rather talk about your players and yourself, but I'll ask you anyway. Just what was your experience like, your feelings like today, getting a chance to go through the dog walk, do everything that it is to be the head coach at Mississippi State here at this stadium, first time that you got to do it here?
I think you're right. We got to talk about my players, right? They're the ones who went out there and did everything. Although I did learn real quickly, a lot of times you're sitting around as a head coach, I won't say bored, that's not right, but you can't really be involved in the defense conversations because maybe you don't know the game plan as in depth as obviously all those coaches do, and you can't be involved in the offensive coaches because maybe you know the game plan, but you're not in all the long meetings and every X and O detail, and so kind of twiddle your thumbs sometimes, I guess, right? You get cheerleading, but No, it's about players. I mean, players prepare, players go out and get ready to play. Players make plays, all right? Coaches, we can make some good calls, but we make plenty of bad calls. The vast majority as coaches typically have more of a negative effect than if they are going to have an effect on the game. It's players. You guys did a great job. As a players first program, it's the reason season tickets are sold out here, why everyone wants to come and create a great environment. We got a lot of really good players. A lot of guys who could have went anywhere they wanted to in the transport when the season ended. They bleed maroon and white. They want to be right here. They like playing in front of this crowd. Right, so I'm glad they got to go out there and get celebrated and execute and start the season off with a victory.
Coach Boogie Watson was certainly everywhere on defense, showcased his nose for the ball. Obviously, one of your leaders on that side. What can you say about the way he played and the way he leads the rest of the guys on defense?
I'm really glad he decided to come back for another year. Right, we got some veterans on defense. We lost quite a few guys, but up front we got some veterans who decided to come back. That make it a little easier for me to sleep at night. Bookie's a captain for a reason, right? He and Will were voted captains, and that's not just by happenstance, right? Those guys they command the respect of any room they walk in our program, right? They command the locker room. So Bookie's got a lot more to do with our defensive success than anything I or the defense coordinator do, right? I mean, players, you got the right guys, veteran presence in the room and in the locker room.
Spivey was, on the sideline today, really involved with the team. How do you feel like he's handled, the decision that's come his way, and is that the final decision you guys have gotten from the NCAA?
I do not know if that's going to be the final decision in regards to the NCAA and his eligibility. I don't think you can say enough about him and how he's handled himself through all of this. All right, and again, simply put, for an organization whose mission statement says it's all about the well-being and the betterment for the student athlete, all the adults failed him on this one. Right? And again, that is a gigantic blow to our football team and our offense. And the blow that is to us, that is a fraction of the blow it is to Spivey and his family. Right? A young man who's done everything that's been asked of him, graduated. Right? You see all kinds of grad transfers, second-time transfers after graduating, playing across college football. Last weekend and this weekend. The guy's done everything that's been asked of him. And he's achieved the ultimate goal of going to higher education, right? Earning his 4-year degree. And to be stripped of his final year of eligibility is, I probably ought to watch what I say, but it's a travesty. It's a travesty. He and his family shouldn't have to go through this. Right? And, I hope he's on our sideline every game. He's certainly part of our program. The fact of the matter is, he still wants to come out. Right now they're saying he's ineligible. He still wants to come out and practice and do everything he can to help the team. Hey, coach, I'll be on the scout team and try to prepare you guys at least better on defense. What's that say about a guy like that, right? So my heart breaks for him and his family, and hopefully some common sense comes to the committee and they realize the mistake they've made.
Close it out, Steve.
Coaches, a couple times they found some success, I guess, on the left side there, running the left side. They ran some underneath stuff there, kind of busted you on a couple screens there, wide receiver screens. What did you see there? Because in the second half, it seemed a lot of those opportunities went away for them.
Again, I thought they had a tremendous plan. I cannot say enough good things about the job that staff does. Right? We want to talk about transfer portal, okay? If you get a chance, ask them how many of their guys from their team last year have started other places, other games for Power 5 teams over the last couple days. All right? And the fact that they can install a game plan. They're in about every personnel, every formation in the book. Okay, they're running air raid concepts in spread sets. They're running pin and pull schemes. They're running inside zone. They've got drop back pass, screen game, play action pass. That is a tremendous coaching staff. So I thought they had a phenomenal plan. They hit some plays on us. We obviously didn't tackle well enough. Anytime you can have the Kansas City Chiefs in 3rd and 20 something, and you should never give up a first down conversion. So we got to look and see what happened on that one particular drive. But credit to them, they got really talented players. All right, and they got really good coaches, and obviously there's things that we got to clean up and do better in terms of our execution on defense. But I thought, again, credit to the defense coaches, Coach Brock and his staff. They did a good job of coming in and not panicking at halftime and just, hey, what do we got to clean up? What formations are we getting? You know, how are they trying to attack us? And they made adjustments and had a really nice second half.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Zach.